We just get off to like such a strong start like that. What's up, everybody? Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get into our second series. Obviously, a pretty quick first best of 5 of the day. So, second series now. Let's hope for something maybe a bit longer, and absolutely could be. In the bottom left, we have the Blue Terran, who in TvZ is definitely not afraid to play, longer mech games, late game bio. This is Cure. Was looking pretty scary there in the in the round of 12 against Creator. Looking quite monstrous, honestly. And we did see some pretty long games from this man in the top right. Our Red Zerg RagnaroK puts up some long games in the group stages against some Terran opponents. Now, while King's Cove isn't necessarily in the map pool anymore, we do still have some other maps where those longer games can happen. So, eyes on RagnaroK to see what he's going to be bringing out of this here today, as we get this setting up and ready to roll. Awesome. So, getting into this in the next few moments, really looking to see what's going to happen. Obviously in ZVT, this typical opener, which is going to be just the Reaper opening, is pretty solid. As the third hatchery comes down from RagnaroK, it's a pretty fast third hatchery. Gets it down before the SCV can get back over there to block it, so it's definitely a nice little bonus, as we do see the Reaper coming up. So yeah, really nice to get that down nice and quickly. So you just see the drone going to get bopped over to the side. Feelings actually taking a lot of damage here. Queen will pop out. The Reaper dove pretty hard though, and that's Q getting a bit too greedy, so the Reaper will go down. Those Lings, I mean, they really did take a beating, but hey, they dragged the Reaper too deep, and Q loses out on that. The Reaper is really important to keep alive because it does a lot of things, such as it can be kind of the group grenade, it can save you from a bit of a surround. The 6 Hellions and a Reaper together one-shot a creep tumor, compared to the 6 Hellions will then need an extra shot, for example. So there's a few good reasons to keep that Reaper alive. Obviously, you can commit it into the mineral line a little bit later on to scout as well. So, yeah, that's pretty funky, as we do see the Reaper from the Queen from RagnaroK sitting out the front. Supply depot from Cure dropping down here as well. So getting that set up and ready to go. A couple of Hellions sitting out the front as well. As we're just going to be seeing this starport moving over. That is going to drop down the tech lap and going to get the cloak upgrade going. So going to go straight in towards this cloak Banshee opener. We've seen a lot of Terran players looking to play battle cruisers lately. So battle cruisers, in towards like a mech kind of style. The Banshees are kind of a bit more old school, but they're a little bit less committed. And this would usually then, I imagine the plan is to probably going towards bio, and actually I say that as he's already started Stimpack. I promise I wasn't looking at the production tab. But typically with the Banshees, the reason you'll probably go bio is because if you want to go mech, you probably may as well have just opened with the battle cruiser, because it's just that much better, and you probably want to keep battle cruisers just in the current meta. That's the style that's very powerful. No, you can definitely play mech off of Banshees, don't get me wrong. It's just you're much more like, if you want to play a bio but still open with kind of like a safe air-based unit, the Banshee is absolutely your kind of go-to. It's a good way to deal some damage, get some drone kills, and it's a good way to also keep you safe against roach attacks while you take up into Marines, etc. And again, it's not very, it's not as gas heavy. It's not as much of a commitment as that battle cruiser, so you're not slowed down in other parts of, taking up into that bio style. Just going to be seeing a couple of Evo Chambers drop down from RagnaroK here, and that's going to be 2 engineering base from Cura as well, so both players' builds continue for the moment. Banshee will show up and just sit on the side. Oh no, the Queen's attacking its own drone! Actually nearly caused the death of that drone. 1 health from death. That's this Banshee didn't expect to get help from help like that. Pretty sure when this Banshee set out today, it was absolutely expecting to, maybe get a drone or 2. not see a Queen getting a drone or two. Slight misclick there, nothing too crazy. I mean, again, in the end, the drone did survive. And this first Banshee is probably just looking to team up with Banshee number... Banshee number 2 wasn't made. Right, so I just thought that the second Banshee was very far along, but he actually cancelled it and Cloak to be able to just swap over to that reactor a bit faster. So you actually just decided, okay, well, not actually going to commit into this Banshee as quick as I might have been doing. Probably RagnaroK got a bit of a scout off, so he just decided it wasn't worthwhile. So yeah, actually just goes one Banshee now. One Banshee, especially Cloakless, is much more kind of a defensive unit than is an aggressive harassing unit. And yeah, you can get a drone or two. That's probably why he was so careful of it before pulling it back so quick. But yeah, it's much more kind of a, unit which will keep you safe against fast roach attacks. And right now, obviously, you can keep an eye on a 4th base coming down or 5th base coming down. May as well keep it on the map for a little bit of map control. But again, it's already kind of served its purpose. It did a little bit of eco damage, while mostly its largest goal was absolutely, as it goes down now, its largest goal was absolutely just in case there was a roach-based opener. It would have been a very good setup to be able to defend. And if it was a roach-based attack, he might have kept Cloak, and obviously would have kept the second Banshee. Might have kept Cloak at that point as well, because then, of course, you've got 2 Banshees. It's absolutely worth having Cloak. And also, then you're going to absolutely force Spore Crawlers on the counter-attack, so it could be pretty nice. We're going to be seeing these Marines coming forwards and picking up a good amount of creep spread to start this off. There's a few Lings left on the rocks on the left-hand side. I think it's going to stream in towards the 3rd base in the meantime. So RagnaroK very quick to get onto the counter-attack here. And that's great to see, because we did see a lot of... we casted some ZVTs the other day, and I can't remember who it was, but whoever it was just really struggled because... who the heck was it? RagnaroK? It might have been RagnaroK versus... No, RagnaroK played a ZVZ. It was somebody in the China Team Championship, I think, and my whole entire point just was that it was just so difficult for the Zerg to kind of get in the game because there was no counter-attacks, there was no run-bys. But as soon as the Zerg did start to do those, they got right back into it. Those Marines continue to stem back down the bottom left. Banes not really connecting in on much there as the Zerglings from RagnaroK turn back around up to the top right. 5th base dropping in from RagnaroK on the bottom right-hand side as well. A few Banelings rolling forwards. Marines and tanks. Press forward, see a couple of creep teamers going down. Lingsbane's going to run in. Oh my god, the Marines are stuck on the tanks. So the Banelings do get a couple of connections. Those tanks, one of them saved. We're still pressing forwards here as he goes onto the creep spread. And a few extra Banes wolf in. He's actually pretty close right away to that 4th base, right? So he's right on top of this. Across the map, we do see Lings streaming in towards this mineral line. A few Marines on the way over to help that out. Kill this base, that would be huge, obviously, denying a 4th. This forward 4th, so easy for Artarian to push into, of course, as we see really good target fire from the tank onto the Banelings that were clumped up. That was the best tank shot you could have gotten in that scenario. As more Zerglings run in now, the Marines are already pulling back and shutting those Lings down. Another few Banelings rolling in as well. Hatchery took a lot of damage there, but didn't go down. Now, this counter-attack did kill 10 SCVs. The depot wall is being killed as well. Secure supply blocked. Can he win this game in the next couple of moments? Because there's a few too many Banelings there, isn't there? So he's not going to win it right now. Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of pressure on this side, but it's definitely dying off a little bit at this point. He's going to be seeing some Marines beginning to unload once again. Some creep going down up to the top side. Starting to clean up quite a bit of that creep spread as we do see other Marines tank sieging up. Lings and Banes trying to decide which way they want to come from, heading in towards the center here. Marines splitting backwards, and a lot of Banelings just going down before they even reach the Marines, although they didn't split in the end, the Marines on the bottom side there, and a couple of Banes did get in reach. Can he finally get this hatchery? Another transfuse drops down from the Queens, but now one of the Queens goes down as well. Splits continue from Cure in a really good spread. We've seen the Lings continue to press forwards to this Queen. Going to get picked off also. 15 more Banelings wolfing in, so a bunch more Banelings coming into play right now. Hive going to be finishing in the next few moments. Still got Marines pressing forwards into this here. This is the Zerglings go running into the center of the map. The Marines will lift up. Again, Lings and Banes just gathering together between the natural and 3rd base. Kira just sat out the front. We're going to be seeing a medevac coming down to the bottom side, and Ultraless Cavern on the way. It's about halfway done here. So that's obviously the next stage. I cannot believe this base was saved, by the way. What an impressive continued defense from RagnaroK. Now that said, I mean, being able to tech up continuously while that was going on, also very good for him. Because now he's got +3 melee on the way, he's got Adrenal Glands on the way up, and the Ultraless Cavern is just about to finish as well in the next few moments. So he's really getting in towards the Hive Tech, so if he can just keep it together for a little while longer now, he's going to really be hitting a much more kind of powerful unit, that kind of power spike in the game for himself. Those Ultras, they really make life so much easier for him, so that's what we're kind of heading towards at the moment, as more Marines into the center. Marine stimming up, going to be dealing some damage. Hatchery taking some shots. There's a couple of Overlords in a little bit of trouble as well. Drone's being picked away at Zergling's taking some shots too, and it's just good drops from Q. I mean, Q's at this stage now as he goes into Widow Mines. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen any Liberators at all. He may just feel like there isn't a chance for Ultras to come up with how much pressure he was putting onto his opponent, which would obviously be a bit of a misread. So yeah, RagnaroK is going to end up stabilizing here. With Ultras out on the map, it shouldn't really be very easy at all for Q to just push forwards into attack. He's really not prepared for Ultras at all. He's only been making Marines. While the Widow Mines might help a bit, you're absolutely at this stage meant to have been going into Marauder production. You're absolutely meant to have been, you know, building up Liberators. And I'm pretty sure that as soon as he sees these Ultras, he's going to start going into a little bit more of an answer to that. You see the Widow Mines blowing up on the first wave of this. The Banelin's still morphing in. And the rest of the army coming in from the north side now. Q might just want to lift and get out of there. Lift up. Is it only really one Ultras? Oh, there's two. You just see the Ultra and immediately 4 Marauders and Liberators. You just have to, right? Like, that's your kind of go-to kind of initial response to the Ultras, and this is going to be what builds up the fastest here. So that's getting set up right now as we do see the Wings and Banes continuing in, and a few more units dropping down. Planetary Fortress. A good amount of damage here, but in the end, it is still going to get blown up. All of the Banelings arriving at the same time. We still have a group of units on the map which are heading towards the base on the right. So looking to shut that down, as at the same time over here, an Ultra is going to pick off those units. And this mineral line is going to get blown up as well as RagnaroK continues to get a lot of economic damage done. Again, there's a little bit of a bio drop. It's doing pretty okay, but the problem is it's going to run out of steam in a moment. And, well, going for another Queen. Maybe a lift up here. No attention being paid by Q, and the Marines get eaten by the Banelings. And that's going to be GG right there. RagnaroK takes game number 1 as he just swarms over Q. Q making. Let's jump in game number 2. So, we are ready to kick this off, I think. Sorry, just double checking a couple of things. Top left-hand side, our blue Zerg player from Chivo, we have got RagnaroK taking on, in the bottom right, our red Terran player, Kua. Alrighty, so second map, and Kua will absolutely have to, like I was just saying, pull this together a little bit to make sure he doesn't let this go a little bit too out of hand. Yes, Thunderbird, so this is already one of the larger maps where it can definitely go a bit later. Usually, this map is a good one for playing Bio on again, because while it is generally one that goes a bit later, it's absolutely one where you can control the pacing of the game with Bio a lot better. You can go left and right, back and forth very. So, yeah. You can really kind of pull the bases apart and punish the Zerg as they continue to build up into higher numbers of bases as the game goes by. SCV is wandering forwards here, having a little bit of a scout around. Sees the hatchery and decides to back away out through the center of the map. A couple of queens on the way up from RagnaroK, a couple more lings on the way out as well. Yeah, this hatchery just on the way up on the third base, so a little bit of build up here on Thunderbird as we get this rolling. Banes don't require micro. Well, it'd be kind of shitty if your Banelings just went off on, you know, siege tanks and stuff all the time, or if you just sent them all in at the same time and they got blown up by one Widowmine. You kind of have to do a lot with Banelings, really, because you want to try and target fire the good clumps of Marines. Make sure they don't go off on other units in the front. Maybe if you want to run them past Marauders, you have to control them. There's a lot you have to do. There's a lot you can do. But you don't just want to go air moving your Banelings into like a Marauder line, right? You want to get them past there and in towards the Marines. Kind of depends on the situation. So you can also air move Marines, but if you air move them into Storm, you're not going to have a good time. Not going to get the best out of them. Reaper from Cure is coming down to the bottom right hand side. And we join up with a couple of Hellions there, so getting that set up and ready to go. Couple Hellions, Reaper able to come in. Obviously the Overlord goes down for the Marine and the Viking fighting it, so a little bit of scouting from RagnaroK. As we saw the couple of extra barracks on the way up. So RagnaroK again, pretty good info, already knows that there's going to be bio here. Stimpack coming up as well, it's about halfway done. Yeah, still about halfway done there, as you do see the Viking able to deal a bit of damage to that Overlord. Queen's there to push the Viking back as well. A few more drones on the way out, a couple of Evo chambers starting up on the third base. Getting that rolling as we do see the Viking again coming out over to the left. Again, just having a good little fly around, really looking to pick up some info. No, obviously kind of super aggressive Starport unit, just the Viking, not even a Liberator to harass with early on, so... Here, I mean, he's now going into a medevac, hasn't actually started the second, gets that going now. Again, playing this bio once again. So what does Q have to change? Well, I think it mostly just has to be a little bit more prepared for going into the Hive Tech. Queen's dealing a little bit of damage to that Viking from Q, which runs up the top side of the map. Continuing up here, going to be finishing in just a few moments time. Again, 1-1 melee upgrades continuing out on these Evo chambers, and we do see this push down the bottom. A couple of Hellions, Reaper, Marines, all coming through the south side here. So yeah, just a little bit of aggression right away. Now this Zerglin hasn't spotted that either, so this could come as a bit of a surprise, and it's absolutely looking to focus on pushing into this fourth base. Really want to push from this left-hand side here as the Terran. You've got a good choke point to work with, a good avenue of attack, compared to attacking down here into what could be just a huge Zerg concave. Not that we're really at the numbers of units where concaves are extremely important. You see a few Lings and Banes starting to move forwards here. A couple of Banelings being hit by those Hellions. Again, Marines dancing back and forth for the moment to try and see what they can do. He's in this position where he doesn't have the numbers to actually fight this, but RagnaroK doesn't want to commit in without Baneling speed because he knows it's not going to be a great trade for him. So they're kind of fighting over the border of the creep here, where they both have their slight advantage to maybe kind of potentially change this up just the tiniest little amount. Drop on the right hand side will unload, and this is where we're going to start seeing some kind of pulling apart of the Zerg player. Some scans to pick up some of the creep tumors out on this side as things go running in. Widowmines actually get pretty decent connections there to start off with. Second one had to retarget a few times before it was able to connect. Well, Hellions still alive from earlier, going to be coming in as Hellbats now, try and soak up in the Banelings. Again, going straight towards those Marines. They don't want to blow up on the Hellbats. Better to leave those towards something else a little bit later on, as 2-2 upgrades start from RagnaroK and Kira alike, so setting that up. Medevac's lifting, coming around to the top. Hive on the way up in the main base, as we're going to be seeing the Marines pressing in through the center. A lot of creep teamers going down over here, so quite a bit of creep being picked off. So quite a lot of creep being picked off. A few Zerglings getting chased away up the left-hand side. Again, Marines, Rotomines, and Medevacs moving around the left. We do see the Marines from Cure hanging out too. 2 more Medevacs going to load up and start coming across the map. Goes up, a few Banelings going down. Still some Lings continue running. Yeah, never would have mind. That's going to be the end of those Marines. No sign of this Marine force coming in from the top. Yeah, Medevac gonna... Oh, Marine's gonna lift up into the Medevac, escape away. Okay, just giving it the pressure. Like, I like this, as long as he keeps it up, right? Just needs to go. Oh, the Widowmine! Disgusting. What was that? 13 kills on one, 10 on the other. Well, that was a Widowmine in a shot and a half. I mean, as long as he keeps up doing this and keeping up the pressure, right, it's okay. While also keeping in mind there is definitely a possibility of having to maybe tech away a little bit later on. The Widowmines continue forwards. Coming through. Drilling claws that just burrow so fast. 18 drones go down. It's actually kind of crazy. Now there's just damage being done everywhere. Another Widowmine's going to drop into this natural mineral line. It's going to be another bunch of drones. Oh my god. RagnaroK is absolutely, again, just destroyed suddenly. 26 workers in, what, like 15 seconds? Just a few attacks all over the place. And like I said, this is a great map for trying to pull that Zerg apart. Pulling up into juicy little Zerg pieces, whack them on the barbecue. Well, it's not really barbecue weather, I suppose. But yeah, especially with these Widowmine drops, the fact that Kira actually went for a very fast Journal Claws, it's a little bit non-typical, but it's actually working amazingly well. Especially because, I mean, I feel like RagnaroK's just not quite expecting these Widowmines to be burrowed in some of the fights, and it's helping him deal some good harassment damage too. He has to unload these Widowmines pretty early there, though. Again, maybe he actually could have targeted a few of the Ling Banes running in, but he was probably busy elsewhere too. He's got these Widowmines, which have not burrowed up for whatever reason. That is a real shame, because that could have been a couple more Zerglings killed, right? The more Lings you pick off, the easier time you're going to have. Ultraless Cavern finishing, and we're getting to the point where we're at in game number 1, where Kira is doing very well up until this point, and now he just absolutely needs to make sure he is prepared for the Ultras. What I do feel is that while Kira's obviously done good damage here, he's not being put on the consistent pressure push that he had going in the last game. And what I feel happened in the last game is he was like, oh man, RagnaroK has only just survived and there's no way he could be teching up beyond this. And then he was actually going into those Ultras. And so right now, you look at it from kind of Kira's perspective, it's like, well, you know, yes, I'm dealing some damage, but he's not really under like the pressure of having to make too many units, so he probably is still teching up. And I kind of learned from a lesson from last time, so he is already making Marauders, starting to introduce them to the composition as Marines and Mines still pressing forwards. There's the first couple Ultras popping out, but no kindness plating yet, so they actually are still going to take quite a bit of damage from Marines, and in fact, the Queens, the only reason those Ultras are staying alive right now. Mine's going off as Ling Bane runs in. Cure trading pretty well. Overseer's getting blown up. Here come the Marauders. And even the Marauders getting into the front lines to help tank the Balin damage could be absolutely huge, as we see a huge Ling Bane counterattack setting up on the right, but it does mean there really just is not enough to do this. Again, the Balins go running by, trying to find Marines. One of the Ultras goes down. Now there's only one left over, and it does feel like this is going to be perhaps a little bit troubling. The Lings on the other side, though, will get the 4th base and 12 workers, so Cure's taking damage as well, and a little bit of this bio has been picked off, and so we're going to be seeing actually Cure lifting up and backing away. RagnaroK's going to turn this around as he continues to stream Zerglings into mineral lines. Just try to be a distraction for as long as possible, get as much done as he can. Just heading its way through the wall off there as we see Zerglings just on a run. I mean, this is the momentum that RagnaroK's built up. This time I don't think it's enough to end the game like it was last time, though. These Banelings will not really Well, actually, they will be able to go into this mineral line. Oh, no! SCV is getting massacred on the left side. There's a few last lings as well. I mean, Cure goes down to 30 workers, but he does have an army supply advantage. But he doesn't actually have the upgrade advantage. He's actually behind on upgrades, so that's really tough. Playing an upgrade disadvantage against the Zerg. He's now down to 25 workers, my god. And he's going to go across the map, but is there actually a way for him to end the game? The reinforcements of RagnaroK are going to be streaming out in very good numbers here very quickly. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way you just end this with a counterattack in any way, shape, or form, honestly. I'm, yeah, not really seeing that one. Bio still gathering up then. A few Widow Mines as well. Ling is going to go after that command center. We'll just lift up into the skies. More Widow Mines going off. Zerglings being cleaned out. A few Lings of the RagnaroK runs out over to the right as these Lings on the bottom get picked off too. We've seen the medevacs coming out over to the left, and we do see this medevac with a few Widow Mines on the side moving around too. Drop down a couple of Widow Mines again. Bio pressing in over on the left-hand side is going to be able to pick off that hatchery. A few Broodlings getting picked off as well. Drone's going down as Widow Mine drops. Not quite successful. I mean, problem for Kyo still is he's so far behind on the workers. 34 to 71. Well, he picks off a base set. He picks off a couple, workers over here. He's just so far back, and now RagnaroK's army supply is evening the game out and putting it to the point where Kyo doesn't even have that one push to end it. Even though I don't think he did with so much creep on the map and the economy. Now we've got a Nidus network into the main, a Marauder, 2 Marauders on top of that pretty quick. So RagnaroK just trying to keep Kyo at home, keep Kyo busy. The more he does that, the tougher a time Kyo has, properly recovering in this game. And I don't know if recovery is really even an option anymore. He will find the Lingbane trying to set up on the right. And maybe he just continues pushing up this right side. But you've also just got to look at the fact that this is kind of Marauder Marine Widow Mine. And it's actually so Marauder heavy. A Ling heavy style would do very well here. And that's why we see, I think, a lot of Lings being made. And yeah, the Marauders just aren't going to be able to take down those Lings fast enough. They're not going to do proper damage like the Marines would. So there's almost too many Marauders. And there's just not the supporting tech that you would need to deal with this many Ultras as well, such as Liberators and moving in towards Ghosts, etc. So these fights are continuing to be extremely one-sided in the favor of RagnaroK. And again, it's not really much of a shocker at this point because, well, you can just kind of see it coming that way, right? There's just nothing in the Terran army to make these fights go any differently. It's going to be seen a medevac is going to go down. Here has to type GG, and I hope we're not going to just see a bunch of 3-0s today. I hope something gets spiced up a little bit somewhere along the way. As we do have to the top left-hand side, the blue Zerg player from Chivo Esports. This is RagnaroK. Up against the red Terran in the bottom right-hand side. Give it up if you're cheering on Cure. TvZ, Game 3. As we get this set up and underway. Overall, coming around the left as we're going to be seeing the Reaper starting up on the barracks. So getting this ready to roll. Reaper coming in. There's going to be seeing a few SCVs mining away on the gases. Spawn pool about halfway done. So a little bit of build up. Here's another drone just on the way out. Yeah, guys, Australia is in Korea right now. Has been for the duration of this tournament. Third hatchery dropping down here from RagnaroK. So again, that's set to roll here on Acropolis as we do see the Reaper coming up the left-hand side. Couple of Queens on the way up then on the main and the natural. Feelings nibbling their way through the bricks as well. We're just going to be seeing that Reaper from Cure just backing away down the left a little bit, so A little bit of backwards and forwards so far. Speed starting up on the spawn pool. Their third hatchery is just over halfway done. And the Reaper just going to come around, jump up in towards the main base, so... Oh, we got people going wild in the chat. Well, we basically got Faith going wild in the chat. What's new, I guess? Bringing some life into player cheers. So we're just going to be hanging out on the natural there. Link speed going to be finished up. Nubitized Carapace done in a few moments as well. Fusion Core starting from here in the back of the natural. Just going to be seeing this Marine nibbling away at the Overlord. So able to get quite a bit of damage done. So Overlord taking a few hits right there, and so Overlord from RagnaroK in the top left-hand side. Fusion Core is about halfway. Got more Hellions on the way out. And the Viking going to be able to take down the Overlord, so RagnaroK going to get himself supply blocked. Nubitized Carapace, doesn't matter, right, if you do see the Viking out. But yeah, he got information. I mean, he saw the setup. He obviously knows that this isn't double starport. It's just the way that the vision has worked. He saw the starport here originally, and then it flew over here, and he saw it there again without going this far in. Battlecruiser on the way up right now from Kira in the main base. Again, not ready to roll. Hellions and a Reaper just hanging out at the front as 5 minutes in. We've really seen a very passive opening. Not a lot going on at all. Just waiting for the Battlecruisers to come into play right now. Third CC already finished up and out in location, so really nice, fast, greedy build from Kira for that Battlecruiser to follow up. I'm going to play mech here, so Acropolis is this map that is a lot larger. It is absolutely difficult to play bio on this one. It's just, you can't push into bases as easily, you can't pull the Zerg around like you can Thunderbird. You're just... There's so much kind of counterattack potential too. So playing the mech is absolutely usually the way forward on Acropolis. Falcons teleports into the back of the natural. Flying in towards the natural there, going to get a few more drones. So 7 workers killed so far. Another Queen taking a few shots as well. 8 more drones in production. Weapon refit, the auto cannon, going to be done in a moment or so. So the Battlecruisers going to get that upgrade on themselves. Good first BC, 7 drones killed, it's a good start. Has to head back home now to get repaired up, but then we'll be able to get aggressive once more from there. Another drone here from RagnaroK, going to be dropping down 4th hatchery. Again, BC just continues his way home for the moment as Magfield Accelerator starts up, and well, RagnaroK actually going into the Spire. It's a pretty typical response to the BCs, of course. Get yourself some Corruptors up and running. So yeah, so far we're just seeing a very typical sort of setup in all of this. And you see Queen getting murdered, players making the very sort of standardized moves. See what more this BC can do. You murder the Queen in the main, so there's only a couple of swords to deal damage there. Then the other Queens come in. Has to start leaving already because you do not want to lose this Battlecruiser, and it's already low. Queens do transfuse that Queen back up to health, and it's honestly only just out of there in time. Another 7 kills though. I mean, yeah, another 7 drones, this time a Queen too. Now the BCs have to be a bit more careful because there is going to be Corruptors on the map. This one obviously it does have a teleport, so it can teleport home and repair up. I imagine that's the plan, just coming forwards and cleaning out some creep. Knowing you can teleport back and then pretty much have the same cooldown as his BC, but yeah, 3rd BC about to finish as well. The Roach is over here, going to get picked off too, so Just using these BCs in a few different locations. The more map control you can take away from the Zerg player, the better at this stage. And again, no real fear of losing this BC, because the second he gets into trouble, he just teleports out of that. So he should be able to keep this alive no matter what, as we're going to be seeing another couple of creep tumors going down. And there is the teleport home as the Corruptors were just about to show up. Still have Hellions and Cyclones. Haven't really made much of an impact yet. We're missing the blue flame on those Hellions. We'll see if that's something he does get. Max Field is the more important upgrade, especially when it's been a Roach-based opening from the Zerg, because obviously the bonus damage to armored units goes a long way. But Infernal Pre-Ignite is generally still good to get, because there's typically going to be Zerglings, and you may as well do bonus damage, and it's going to make a few run-bys a little bit more powerful too. So it's definitely an upgrade you want, but you can understand why it's not maybe always a priority here. Right at the start. If it was Hydras, then it absolutely is more of a priority, obviously, because they do bonus damage to Hydras with that Infernal Pre-Igniter. But if it's Roaches, yeah, you can kind of hold off of it for a little while. Battlecruiser production continues, by the way, so we're getting up into a very scary number of Battlecruisers. The fourth one now on the way up. With 4 Battlecruisers altogether, I mean, there is a lot of potential for dealing damage here. We're only talking about, what, 8 Corruptors? So the 4 BCs, Yamato those Corruptors instantly. There's only 4 Corruptors. 4 Corruptors do not out DPS 4 Battlecruisers. So that's something to really keep in mind there. By the way, those Corruptors look pink, don't they? They do not look blue at all. They look pink. Just in terms of player colors. That's some film on Pre-Ignited Storm. We're going to see a couple of Thors added in as well. Corruptors on the map and Hive Tech on the way. Obviously, Broodlords are the next logical step for RagnaroK. And to be able to deal with those Broodlords, Q is going to want as much anti as you can get. And Thor Gumbers, if you have a good, a good few Thors, then that should do very well. And there's the Cyclones passing by, and there's going to be another Zergling picked off at the front. These Zerglings running around the bottom side here. Hellions, roasting, Cyclones falling away over to the side as well. Hellions still doing a pretty good job of this up until now. Well, Link is going down. Ravagers and Roaches still pressing forwards. Drawn. Just trying to take their space with the BCs. We'll take it down. Again, there's a few more Corruptors now. So I was talking about there being 8 Corruptors before. That has increased. So probably not really at a point where the BCs can do too much. We'll just instantly line up your Yamatos and should just be teleporting away pretty quickly. There's not a lot of point to fighting these Corruptors. You're not going to get any kills. Okay, targets the Queen. I really feel like now you should just teleport away. I guess gets one more Corruptor. But it's still kind of expensive, right? Repairing those BCs is not cheap because they're expensive units to begin with. So, well, yeah, you got a Queen and a Corruptor. You might not have actually been super efficient with that. Bentley's moving down this ramp and goes up a couple of Cyclones to start. Tell you what, Kyo just has the bank to work with as well, doesn't he? 1,700, 1,100 in the bank right now. There's Roaches and Ravagers from RagnaroK coming into the top left-hand side. Still got those couple of Thors just setting up. More units continue to gather together. SCVs repairing up the BCs. 4 more Commencers coming into production. You're going to see the Thors in the front there. Cyclones and tanks fighting away. First 4 goes down pretty quickly. Baneling's going to wander in as well. These BCs are going to start doing quite a lot of damage. The Corruptors are going to start flying in. Just Corruptors and Bans continuing on. Continue to chase the BCs. When they don't have teleports back, it's obviously a bit dangerous. That teleport literally just brought them over to the side. Having lost the Cyclones, there's not really any proper anti to get rid of these. I mean, a repair now might be enough against this many Corruptors. Thor there is actually helping out a little bit too. I mean, RagnaroK and Cure both lost a lot. The biggest problem for Cure is he lost a lot of the BCs, and they are really a really awesome kind of unit to keep on the map for harassing throughout the game. So getting rid of those is obviously very useful. It's very powerful. You're not going to just see RagnaroK coming around the top side with a few Corruptors. So, a few Corruptors coming around the top here. Couple more Thors on the way out. Adrenal Glands +1 Carapace +3 melee. All coming in as well. Few infestors of RagnaroK just gathering in the top left-hand side. Again, Command Center just waiting to land up as well. Land me down. It's one thing that's not really been done in this game at all by RagnaroK. He hasn't really denied any of the economy, so we talked about Kyo having a good bank before, and he still has a good bank here while, you know, continuing to trade out, so his Roach will burrow and force a scan, maybe even force 2 by the time it takes this BC to kill them, although Missile Turret is on the way up. Yeah. He's going to get a second scan. It's kind of funny though, because actually I'm not sure if this second scan is going to necessarily be enough. Yamato's one of the roaches. Okay, he just gets them. Alien's running around the left-hand side. I able to pick up the roach already. Still we have tanks, Thors, VCs gathering up in the center. 32 more Zerglings on the way up, and just going to be seeing the Hellions picking up a few more Zerglings. Fins pressing forwards. Ah! Good play with the Hellions, making sure he doesn't take any splash on those. Getting himself in a very strong position for the moment. Space actually does go down. Oh, that's been picked off as well. Hellions moving around too. A couple of Vipers, Infestors, Corruptors, all on the way out. Still pressing forward here, these Queens. Just trying to get the quick spread re-established, but it's Cure. He's really holding the middle of the map quite strong, and the game we just... I'll get into that point though where it's a little bit tough for the Terran because we now have Infestors and Broodlords in play, and Corruptors too. Here coming around the right hand side, Hatchery dropping down as well. Hellions gonna take a bit of a poking from those spine crawlers. Oh my god, 9 drones go down. That's not really 12 workers. This is what I mean, like Q's just consistently got the bigger bank, he's just got more to trade with, and he's just got more to rebuild with as well. And RagnaroK's not really had any attacks that have really denied economy, while Q has been slowing down bases, he has been picking off drones. He's been making RagnaroK's life very difficult. So Kyo fighting back well here in this game 3 after losing the first couple. Obviously in a must-win situation here is going to see these VCs turn back around. We'll actually be able to get these. That'd be really nice. Just on the way over, and that's where the Thors will have to turn to fight. Thors do a lot of damage in that non-anti-air mode. Explosive payload. God, you know they changed the Thor ability so much. I just gave up trying to remember the name of it. Sounds stupid, but like it really is like just one of those abilities where it's just like, yeah, the Thor does that thing nowadays, right? They changed it so much. Well, Kyo's actually splitting up his army. Going up the left-hand side is going to be able to get rid of a good few creep tumors here, so this is quite nice because the Broodlords obviously especially are very slow and can't be everywhere. Oh my god, Infestors. If there was a scan right now, that would have been brutal. The Infestors are now going to drop the old Parasites, though. There could still be a scan if Hero was paying attention, but now it's too late. Now there's not enough Unity scans. And yeah, this is actually a nice cleanup. On the bottom left-hand side, the Broodlords do get a bunch of kills, but it does cost him a base. He lost a lot there, especially because this was such a bad trade for him up here. Again, imagine he just had that scan a few seconds sooner. That would have been kind of crazy. As these tanks hidden away, going to come back up, and they're going to be able to siege for the space again. Now that Broodlord's on a bit of a push though, Kyo takes the opportunity to rebuild into Vikings. RagnaroK's bank has built up the last few moments especially actually, so it's looking a little bit better for him, and Kyo does not have to use to defend this bottom base. Now Kyo's going to lose a base as well. So Kyo's planetary fort was taking some caustic spraying damage. Bruce continuing to press forwards here, going to be dropping them Broodlings down on top of a few Hellions. Another couple of Corruptors joining up here, and again, just going to be seeing a bit of a tough scenario. I mean, we see some tanks still up over here as well. One of them sieges, the other two going to stay on siege. Actually going to work out kind of pretty decently, actually. They're still doing damage. But now Kyo loses another base. He's maxed out, so he can't really build much more. He's just waiting for a couple more Thors to finish in production. Is it going to be enough? Is there enough anti-air here? Fungal Growth already lands really well placed on the Vikings. A bunch of infested Terrans to take the front lines. It's going to... Neuroparasite Viking, pretty sure that was probably meant to be aimed more so towards a Thor. I think RagnaroK loses this fight. Thors are just doing way too much. The Broodlord cannon's being destroyed. The Hellbats dealt with the infested Terrans very easily, and wow, RagnaroK really overcommitted there, didn't he? Now he's got Vikings chasing down the last few Broodlords. Those Thors put in the work. They did so much in this fight. Now it's a struggle to know what you should do as RagnaroK, because if you make more Broodlords, the Thor count is already extremely good. If you don't make Broodlords, do you really have a composition that's worth playing for? Well, I mean, honestly, no, not really, is the answer to that one. No, not really at all. How about Thors and Vikings? Continuing into the upper left. Here we go. The Hellbats approach. Thor's going in. A couple of Vikings as well. I mean, Overlord's getting killed off all over the place. The Spine Core is burrowing over to the right-hand side. Hatchery is going to go down as well. Those spines continue to drop. RagnaroK has spent all of his money now, but you know, some of this is on Zerglings. I mean, there's still Hellbats in play, so obviously Zerglings shouldn't do too crazy good. A couple of Infestors going down before they even reach. A lot of these Infestors don't have the energy they need to really make much of an impact. I mean, a couple of Neurals are nice, of course, but as the scans come down, the Infestors will die, and RagnaroK's supply is just not there anymore. Well, it looked like the RagnaroK was obviously very confident moving forwards, picking up 2 bases. He just went in too fast and too far. Kira was able to defend, to turn this around. Kira RagnaroK game number 4. The bottom right hand side. Our blue Zerg player who is up in the series still 2-1. This is RagnaroK. And on the top left hand side we are going to be having our Red Terran, Kira. I see people being banned. What did you guys do? Why is the sub goal 1,383? Because that's the number of subs we need to unlock another new emote slot. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know what to put the sub goal at after the last couple of days. It's just been stupid. So. I just figured we may as well put it at that, and absolutely have zero intentions of being able to reach it. Because we've already had a crazy amount of love recently, so it's probably where we're just gonna, I don't know, like, it's just kind of to see, like, maybe if we do have like some more gifted subs or something happen, I can be like, well, actually, we're only that far away from an emote, and then maybe some people will get hyped and unlock another emote slot and stuff. Because we just unlocked a new emote slot yesterday. And this is the closest. This is the highest subscriber count we've ever been on. Ever. Like in the history of the stream. We've never been this high. It's mostly all thanks to Kybrit. Kybrit has gifted 700 subs in the last 3 weeks. Which means that if we didn't have Kybrit subs, we'd be on like 540 subs. And then there's about another 100 gifted subs in there, so we're kind of still around like the 400-ish sub number, really. So the realistic sub number is 400, but you know, just slightly boosted up a little bit right now. Just slightly boosted. Reaper hops into the main. Zergling's taking quite a bit of damage here. The couple lings will be running after that Reaper. What's up, Ridfly, coming in for the 18-month resub. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well, buddy. 1.5 years of subscribing. What a legend. Reaper drops a grenade, pops some Zerglings and drones around. It's a weird milestone for a new emote slot. It's because sub emotes get unlocked by sub points. So, for example, a tier 2 sub is 1 subscriber, but it's worth 2 sub points. And a tier 3 subscriber is 1 subscriber, but it's worth 6 sub points. So, it's basically just means that, like, if you go for a higher tier subscription, you help to unlock emotes more easily. So, it's based on sub points rather than subscriber number. So basically we have like 17 more sub points than we do subscribers. So we basically just need like 17 less than 1400 subs. Because it's basically 1400 sub points is the next emote slot. What's up, Chillin' Yeti, dropping down at the Twitch Prime sub as well. Thank you so much. Dropping that Twitch Prime like this ribbit, just drop that drone. Boom. Hopefully for Chillin' Yeti, he's not going to get killed by the Queen, but don't see why that would happen. Yeah, thank you so much, Chillin' Yeti. Really do appreciate the Twitch Prime. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Linga's going to get rid of these rocks as we do see the Zergling going up the right-hand side. Fusion core on the way up from Kira in the main base. We're going to be seeing that Battlecruiser opening again. You can see the safety of RagnaroK dropping down a Baneling Nest. He's really taking precautions against the possibility of a Hellbat-based attack. Banelings work very well when it goes up against a Hellbat attack or so. Just gonna see a RagnaroK up the right-hand side. Something around the right, we see some Hellions, some Qs still sat in the center. Zergling gonna get roasted pretty quickly there though. Command center continue to pump out some SCVs. Lair on the way up, about halfway done. So far, so good as the Viking lifts up from the sky, up from the ground up into the sky. Hellions again running around on the right. Lair, drones, Zerglings, Queen. All on the way up. A couple more factories dropping down. Battlecruiser going to be finishing in just a few moments. A couple of Eva chambers continuing up as well. Again, the Hellions. It's going to be able to pick off that Zerg. So Sling actually gets all the way up there, gets the scout. I mean, this is going to be mecha gain here from Q, so kind of sticking to what worked in that game. Oh my god. Queen straight underneath this Battlecruiser, though. The step is very good to maximize damage onto it. Good couple of transfusions as well. Going to turn onto the Viking. So the BC survives with some good health left on it, but no damage dealt at all. So very good defense here initially. Biggest problem right now is these Hellions are actually doing a pretty good job trading out. Obviously, the Queens are in the main. Oh my god, there's an entire third base mineral line that's just protected by what? 2 Queens? Spinecrawler around the back. Oh my god, the wall off! Oh my god, those drones are safer than they should be. What a defense by RagnaroK. That's such a sick play. Damn. 9 drones go down in the end, but that should have been so many more. That was such a sick play. That was actually so cool. Really good walling of the mineral line, and RagnaroK saves himself from trouble. RagnaroK is saving up some money as he goes into the Spire again here. Is Cure building... Okay, he has built a second BC. I was just wondering if he was continuing to build BCs. Teleports over, so he's got 2 BCs together right now. They do have Yamato cannons, so 2 Queens will go down guaranteed. At least 2 Queens. That's the first. Pop. That's some drones going to take damage. He's actually just going to go for the Spore Crawler here, knowing the Queen's out of position. If he gets the Spore, takes away some of the damage, and now the drone count's going to take a serious beating. 7, 8 drones down. Now Overlords are being picked off as well, so Overlords continue to go down here as well. First BC going to teleport back away to the top left-hand side. Meanwhile, this time there is not the safe haven in this corner, and this time the drones are stacking themselves up as well. Oh no. Hellions, 23 drones is what they help add to. I mean, obviously the BCs have done some of that. And do you see actually the BCs, one of them goes down, the other does escape, teleporting away. But this time Q's just dealt a lot more damage. So round 1 was well defended, like really well defended. But round 2 was actually a massacre. And unfortunately for RagnaroK, that's going to make this very difficult for him to recover from. And Kira is keeping the Terran Dream alive on this top side of the bracket. Couple Hellions backing away as Roaches come up the left. We do see the Cryptos trying to find a way to pick away at BCs and just looking for some opportunities to potentially cause spray and deal damage, but They don't really find anything there. Man, look at what's been lost. Only 15 Hellions, a Reaper and a Battlecruiser. It's kind of impressive, actually, as you're going to be seeing. A siege up. Tanks getting set up defensively. Hellions and Cyclones still pressing down this left-hand side. Seeing what else is going to be happening. Still a few Hellions and a Cyclone too, pressing down the bottom side here. Barracks flying forwards. Corruptors are going to jump on top of this barracks, and Barracks is obviously going to take a bit of a beating here. A couple of drones downed. Archers and Ravagers. Bit of an adventure. The Cyclones picking up a couple creep teamers at the front. The Roaches and Ravagers pushing those Cyclones away. And the BC is running in over on the left-hand side. Going to be seeing a little bit of damage being done there. Queen already drops. Going to see the BC hitting the Spore Crawler, and we'll just Yamato down a Corrupt or two and teleport now. Hellions on the right side. Look at the supply difference. I mean, 176 to 150, and Cure just has money in the bank to still spend. I mean, RagnaroK might be able to survive based on very defensive positions, etc., but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough as these Hellions going to get chased away down to the bottom. Roaches and Ravagers continue to chase them down as well. Plus 2 vehicle plane and weapons on the way up. Infernal Pre-Igniter starting to also. On this left-hand side, these Hellions taking more damage. Roaches continue to clean up over there. Problem is here for RagnaroK with the troubles he's had having to replace drones, replace armies. He's not even close to getting Broodlords out this time around, so pressing forwards. Grey Spy is going to be done, but not sure if he's... I mean, I guess he could get a few Broodlords up. I guess he could get a few up and rolling, but yeah, it's pretty crazy over here. Advanced tanks. BC is still pressing forwards here. A couple of bars going down. 7 Broodlords on the way. And there's only 1 Thor, so this attack from Kura is probably going to get turned around here. The Broodlords will just about be enough. I mean, obviously the BCs aren't going to be able to do much there. You know, Corrosive Bars still trying to press this away. And from the Broodlords. BC is realizing the trouble there in as well. Fungal Grove currently. Corrosive Bars coming down on top of the Fungals. One BC goes down as it's trying to Yamato, but it does get a Yamato off. Another Yamato coming in as the Corruptor's actually still taking quite a lot of damage. These couple of Corruptors go down, and the next thing you know, those BCs are obviously going to be able to jump on the Broodlords. It's so important because it means the Broodlords can't continue forwards here. It means now the Broodlords have to back away, and it allows the other army to get away as well. Should be able to target that, fire down that Infestor, but Transfuse will save it. That's really crazy. A couple of BCs down the bottom going to be flying around, dealing a little bit more damage here. One of them gets out of there. The other one has a teleport. Oh my god, was really just chasing for that Corruptor, wasn't he? That was a bit crazy. Damn, alright, well, that is that. This attack is pushed back. RagnaroK still lost a lot in the process, though. Infestor's going down. A lot of Corruptors that he lost and then had to rebuild. So, as it stands, it's still looking pretty good here for Cure. If Cure wins this, we're tied up 2-2. We're going to a game 5. It's obviously huge as well. Tanks continue to escape out at the left. mean, obviously now the reproduction of Kira has been all these Thors, units that are going to be able to help against those Brute Lords up in the sky. There's going to be so many of them. Thor after Thor. To be able to fight those Brutes. And we saw how well the Thors can do when they're given the chance, when they're given the opportunity. Six more Infestors. Continuing on out here. RagnaroK is trying to get enough money to max out completely, but Kira will be attacking around the time he's maxing, so guy just has to go for this pretty much ASAP. Here down the right-hand side again, RagnaroK will have to scramble his defenses. Still has units in production. Still 10 supply off maxed. Oh, that's those. Even a Raven mixed in here as well. Intrigued to see what that's going to try and do. Initial Broodlords trying to target fire down some into Broodlings, but not really finding much luck so far. Hasn't been able to fire anything at all. The problem is they don't want to go too far forwards, because if they go too far forwards, they're going to be picked apart by those Thors pretty easily. Investors find a Neural Parasite on a Battlecruiser. The other Battlecruiser just teleported back a little bit to get out of range of Neurals. These Infestors are kind of stuck in this corner, but it doesn't look as though Kira's going to be able to press into that before that becomes more of a problem, more of an issue there. Broodlords take down the Thor pretty quickly. Big anti-armor missile drops down. Ravens put themselves to use then, as we see some Neural Parasites will drop in as well. The scan is good, though. It gets rid of the Infestors, so the Neurals go off. As soon as those Neurals are gone, look at the Thors on the right side. They are just pressing straight in towards the Broodlords. Meanwhile, the Battlecruisers are doing very well against the Corruptors as well. The anti-armor missile helps a lot for the BCs, which attack very quickly. Means that they benefit a lot from taking armor off of your opponent, as we see. Again, the Infestors are going to come in with a couple of Neurals, and those Neurals might be enough to swing the tides in his favor for just a few moments, as the last few units of Kira here will get taken down. RagnaroK is still going to GG out. I think RagnaroK's just lost too much on the economy, and he kind of knows it. So we'll see what's going to happen to the top left. Our blue Zerg from Chivo Esports is RagnaroK. Had a 2-0 lead, but since the gameplay switched from bio to mech, it has been a very different story. It's been the story of Kira. He's won 2 in a row, has momentum on his side going into this game number 5. After this series, guys, I do have a decision on what we're going to do. We're going to cast Bunny versus Dream. Then we're going to cast Trap versus Estrella, and the winner of Trap versus Estrella versus Gumiho. That's going to be the plan for the day, if that sounds good to you guys. We're not going to cast the ZVZs. We're not going to cast Rogue versus Impact and the winner versus Solar. I'll update you guys on the results of those when we have them. I feel like 5 best of 5 is a good amount. Like I said, we might do a Twitch bounty at the end of today. It kind of depends on how the stream is going at the time. Just going to be seeing a few more SCVs on the way out here. Reaper is on its way up to the top left-hand side, so trying to see a little bit more of what it can be done. Reaper running up to the top. Going to be dropping a grenade, and drone's getting bounced around a little bit. As Reaper able to apply just a little bit of pressure. Speed on the way up here from RagnaroK, so getting that rolling as the Reaper pops up. Hatchery already takes a little bit of damage. Just a little shot or so from that Reaper, of course. Kira pulls back down to the low ground. A few Zerglings just hanging around up here. Queen on the edge as well. And the 2 gases dropping down from Kira in the natural mineral line, so yeah, just already going in towards a lot of extra gas here. Kira, as he gets that 3rd CC up and running, it already feels like it's going to be very kind of gas heavy, very tech heavy over the next little while. Speed. Pneumatize Carapace on the way up as well. So continuing on with this for just a few extra moments, getting a couple more upgrades out there. Again, there's Overlord of RagnaroK just hanging out over our Disco Cube in the center as well. Reaper just continues down to the bottom right-hand side, so Reaper down to the bottom right. The couple of Hellions joined up together. Fusion Core going to drop from Cure in the back of the Natural. Already again, those couple of Marines just jumping straight onto this Overlord, so good little bit of damage being done as the Marines are able to chase that Overlord out and away into the middle of the map. Alright, so Fusion Core going to be done in a moment or so. Disco Bloodbath to decide this series. Honestly, I feel like they both deserve it after the effort that's been put in here. Feels like they both kind of deserve this one, as we do see the Queen just going to inject away there for RagnaroK into the third hatchery. The other few Queens coming over. So Queen's just hanging out. Rotron dropping down an extra drone, a few extra drones actually on the way out. Last starting up in the main base, and again the Viking Akua just coming around up the right-hand side. So a little bit of pressure coming in. Obviously, as soon as this battlecruiser pops, we're going to have a teleport across the map, and a teleport across will allow for some of these drones to be picked away at. Hellions chasing Kane already. A couple drones going down. Eight drones killed so far. Again, Hellions and a Reaper coming around into the center of the map. Viking in the middle as well. And 8 drones already killed. I mean, the battlecruisers back to kind of doing the damage it did in the first game. Kira's going to get chased away. RagnaroK has just not punished this build from Kira at all, right? I mean, super fast 3cc, battlecruiser. There's been no attempts to be aggressive against this or anything along those lines. And Kira is just getting away with doing the same thing again and again and again. And RagnaroK is just not punishing this at all. More Hellions going along the right side. Pick off the creep tumor there. BC trying to poke back in for some more damage. The Hellions are really the threat at the moment. I mean, there's a few roaches here, but I mean, they're going to go down. Once these roaches are down, there's only a handful of Zerglings, and RagnaroK might be in a lot of trouble. I mean, Hellions going to buy a few roaches starting to pop out, but where are those drones going to go to? 3 drones killed so far. Can he find the extra ones up to 8, 9, 10, 14? Oh my god, and the drones are lining up as they go back home. 20 workers killed. Oh, Cure is just destroying RagnaroK in the last... What a way... Like, I don't even know how to describe this. RagnaroK has truly just kind of started to flop in these games after a fantastic few games. You know, in games number 1 and 2. He is just really struggling with this style from Cure, and that's kind of just the power of just being able to change up your style. RagnaroK honestly looks like no Zerg is better than him right now when it comes to playing against Bio. But then you look at this, and you know, you completely change up the style of play as Cure, and RagnaroK just struggles so much. Talk about different strengths and weaknesses within the same matchup. That's truly something that's kind of crazy here. As you can see the BC firing away. Queen couldn't get transfused back up to health there. So Lord chase away back to the top left-hand side. Roaches continue to fight on through the rocks here as well. Drones going down, as you can see the Hellions running around after all of those. 4 workers killed so far. That's 5. Hive on the way up in the main base again, that ready to go. A couple tanks sieging up, a couple BCs setting up as well. Plus some missiles and carapace continuing in. 2 more siege tanks in the production tab. Continue to set up as well, as you do see that barracks just flying out in the center. Well, factory's building up from Kua, who is just preparing himself already. I mean, as Hive starts up, we've kind of seen this one all before. It's not really much different to games 3 and 4 in terms of how the setup is looking to play out. Obviously, the big difference is I feel like Kua for the first time has really just done a lot of early game damage, and BCs blow up some Corruptors. A couple of them going to stick around and kill off some Queens before they teleport away. Obviously, this is absolutely worthwhile. 2 Queens going down so easily. Obviously, the Corruptor's going to be able to chase down this barracks as well. I mean, again, Q at 91 SCVs, by the way. His manager's just out of this world. I mean, I know RagnaroK is at 82. It just means that Q is absolutely able to keep trading and to keep pumping out units, especially Hellion run buys like this one. Up the right-hand side, this is so cheap for him. Never hits that Circ Mineral line, you know, that's RagnaroK having to rebuild drones, etc. He kind of runs past here. I mean, obviously RagnaroK should have been able to see this on the minimap, but currently no response apart from trying to wall in the drones once again. And he will wall them in on a few different sides. He doesn't get it on the back though, and so the Divas will have to cancel. It's going to be another few drones. It's actually not even that many drones here, so 10 go down. That was actually the majority of the workers on this base. A lot more workers over on this base here. Well, actually must be. I feel like there should have been some more saturation somewhere, but maybe I'm just miscounting. I guess when you consider the fact that a few of those drones cancelled from Evos and stuff, it kind of made a bit more sense. Well, Ravagers and Lings in the middle of the map, and as a Great Aspire is on the way up, we're going to be seeing the Infestation Pit and researching Pathogen Glands. Pathogen Gland upgrade can allow him to be able to fungal growth as soon as he comes out, and of course if he wants to go into Neuroparasites, any extra energy on the Infestors is going to be a huge helping hand with that, so should help a lot as well. So we are going to be seeing these BCs, man, find 7 drones. RagnaroK's just taking too much damage. You can just kind of see it in the banks at the moment as the BCs teleport out from killing Corruptors. You know, Q at 2k and 1k in the bank. RagnaroK 400, 800, and still trying to max out, actually. He's saving some of that gas, some of those minerals to build Broodlords. Does this tournament release the replays? Quick question in the chat. Yes. Replays from this tournament are available to all subscribers on the Discord server. We'll be doing a new replay pack very soon. So that is coming up in the near future. 6 more Broodlords in production, as we do see Valkyries, Hellbats, and Thors pressing forwards. The Broodlords are about to be here. This time there's just Thors so far ahead of time from Kua though, right? I mean, last time he had like a few BCs and 1 Thor. This time he's got BCs and the Thors already set to go, so the initial Broodlords are unlikely to do super well trying to turn this army around like we've seen previously. Here we go. Tank fire is going to be important here. The Thor's having to pull back quite a bit away from those corrosive bowels and away from the Roach Ravager damage. Corruptors fighting the BCs up in the skies. Obviously, if you get rid of the Corruptors and the BCs, they'll be able to fight the Broodlords at the end. In the end, there's only a couple of Broodlords left over, actually, so there's not that much anti-air air-to-ground damage coming down, so the Fusions that are left over from QS seem to be good. I mean, we're talking about RagnaroK rebuilding Lings and Roaches and Drones. That's not really going to be not what he needs to kind of defend this. How many drones have gone down this game? 56. I mean, honestly, mostly just the initial 20 was kind of the biggest hurt. +3 missile attack, +2 melee upgrades that will probably never really finish in this game, although maybe they will because Kua is unlikely to, I guess, go attacking straight into this before he gets reinforcements out. Obviously, Mech does struggle in the sense that reinforcements take a little while longer to build than some of the other choices. And there's more of into Hellbats pressing forwards here. Broodlord's starting to drop those Broodlings down on top of the Hellbats. Thor being the target initially, and Golden back will go down. Just kind of send the siege tanks forwards. Target firing down Queens with high energy. A couple of Vikings showing up. There's not really any Corruptors left, so these couple of Vikings are going to do well until the Queens can get forwards. Kua maybe went a bit too far forwards there, like just being a little bit too overeager. And he's actually been building a lot of tanks rather than Thors. Interesting. I mean, I know there was Roaches pouring out, but let me see. There was more BCs, Broodlords being made as well. And he did see those Broodlords being made a while ago because he scanned them, so kind of surprised, a little bit surprised about that, honestly. Vikings, Thors, and tanks making their way out over to the left-hand side. On the right, we see the Planetary Fortress is going to be able to pick off a few Zerglings as well, so they will go down. And again, this army going to be able to pick off a hatchery. So, I mean, Kyo's quite eager to just stay on the map. I guess the Corruptor count isn't really there's not really any infestors, so it's still a good army comp for him to fight with. Compared to what his opponent has. I mean, this hatchery is in trouble because these tanks are already sieged. 3 Thors, quite a lot of Vikings as well, actually. It's kind of a big difference we didn't have before. The Viking count will make up for the lack of Thor numbers, and especially as the Corruptor count's been taking some hits and not really, I mean, has been replaced, but obviously isn't as, you know, where it wants to be. And there's a lack of infestors. The Vikings do very well here, compared to how we've maybe seen the Vikings do before, so... The stack defense continues to fall. Got a bit of a Roach Ravager that popped on the left. More Thors about to arrive. Those are going to be so... I mean, they need to not go up here. They need to go over here and again join the fight against the Brutes and the Corruptors. But they're not going to do that right away. The one Infestor does come in. The Fungal Growth is pretty decent on top of the Vikings. And the Broodlords are starting to string through on top of the Siege tanks now. So RagnaroK's starting to take those tanks down. The Vikings taking down the last couple of Corruptors here. Again, if the Corruptors fall, then the Broodlords will be in trouble, but there's more Corruptors on the way out, and as they arrive, the Vikings will probably realize they have to back away. A few Thors over here will be able to pick up some of, again, these drone kills, which we just started running back past, and get rid of a Corruptor as well. But now the Zerglings show up. He's going to land the Vikings to try and protect the Thors. I feel like that's not quite going to be as successful as he wants it to be, unfortunately. Zerglings Roaches moving down here, going to be seeing this Thor unfortunately getting surrounded, but actually he's going to be left alive. Here still is the player of the better economy and the better bank. He's on multiple bases over what RagnaroK has. So while RagnaroK's holding on, you've got to remember it's tough for him to stay in the game. And as you just see again, Vikings pushing the Cryptos up to the top side. Lings and Roaches continue to run down to the bottom now. Bay taking a few shots of damage, and again running in these SCVs going to take a ton of damage. Tanks, Thors continue to fight. Roaches go dropping like crazy. Those Vikings going to go back up through the center. He's going to type out GG. He knows he just can't continue to fight this army. And Kyo takes an 0-2 deficit and turns it into a 2